doing a little voiceover here because my original audio got screwed up. Sorry, it might seem a little funny, but that's the only way I think I'm going to be able to upload this video, and I got kind of some good progress in it, so I wanted to kind of document it. This is the subframe on Big Mike, the 68 Nova project. So I'm just going to be disassembling it here. So doing this out in my front yard just because it's the only shade I had, and my garage is kind of full right now. We're in a pretty tight spot, but right here I'm just explaining I'm going to be taking the shocks out and then take it all apart, get the spring out. The one struggle that I think most people would have in this case is the fact that this doesn't have the weight of the engine or transmission or the body on it, so you're stuck kind of using the spring compressor tool. I didn't get any shots of it, but there's plenty of videos online for how to do that. This is more of a progress video, just showing that I'm disassembling the entire subframe. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to spray it in epoxy, and then I'm going to use the semi-gloss chassis black spray. And the reason I'm going with that versus like a powder coat is, one, because of cost and being able to just get it done a little bit quicker, and the other is because I want to be able to touch this up in the future, and powder coat is not great for touching up, and I want to be able to match it when I touch it up too pretty good. So I'm going to go through and kind of speed through some of these clips. In the background here, you'll see a Nova passing by. That was like 73, 74 Nova. That thing sounded pretty healthy. Something to kind of aspire for when we get this thing up and running. Okay, just going to speed through some of this. So zipping some of these bolts out for the shocks. Go up top with some vice grips. And then a box wrench, and just unthread that oval bolt on that shock. Take those shocks out. I didn't get the whole disassembly on film here just because, really guys, I've been trying to get through this thing and not spend all day making videos on it. Primary reason is because we're getting here in Wisconsin to the end of summer. It's going to be fall pretty soon, and before we know it, we're going to have snow on the ground. So I'm trying to get this thing back onto the car, get it cleaned up, get it back on the car, get this thing on wheels so I can get it inside. Right now, I've got it sitting outside just because it's so nice for me to be able to work outside on it. And I just cover it when I'm not working on it. And also, it's because I have a my other project in there. I think I might have thrown some clips or videos of that one up, but probably not much. But I got a 68 Tempest, Pontiac Tempest, that I just painted that's in the garage that I am about to start cutting and buffing. But again here, just ripping this subframe apart. Here, I got the sway bar out. I'm going to skip over some of this. Get the wheels off. Got springs out on the one side. Still got to take the spring out on the other side. This all been done a few weeks ago. But after I disassembled this, I went ahead and wire wheeled the whole thing. Got it real clean. And then I've got a few shots here in a moment of it after I have it sprayed in epoxy. So here's a clip I took whenever I was taking upper control arms off of these upper control arms, the torsion bars, and the spacers, just documenting how many spacers were on each corner. So on the front, I pull it out and I show that we've got 2 of the thin spacers and a medium, and same thing on the back, 2 thins and a medium. Go ahead and pull that apart and show you guys what those spacers look like. Just tap it real close with my hammer. Pull those off. There's those spacers. Same on the passenger side, 2 of the thin ones, and then the medium side one. Then we'll jump over to the, I'm sorry, this is the driver's side. We'll jump over to the passenger side and take a look at those. So on the passenger side, we just have one medium one. It's actually a little smaller than that medium one, but it's not as small as those real thin ones. And then on the back side, we get a bunch of them kind of caked together with a bunch of grease. So it's like 2 of the mediums, 2 thin ones, 1 large one, a bunch of those. So we'll replace these just the way they come out. And whenever we put the new tie rods on, we'll get those about as close as we could to the old tie rods, and then we'll take it for an alignment. So this is just off the upper control arm on the rear passenger side. You can see all those. So get it all taken apart. About to start cleaning it up. You'll see the transmission cross member is back further than the factory position. Somebody, before we got this thing, they had swapped in 204R, which we'll probably end up using because it's got the overdrive, but they went ahead and they welded that cross member to the subframe. So I gotta figure out a solution for this. You could use a 400 cross member. That would work for you. I think for my situation, just to save us a little bit of money, I'm just gonna modify that cross member and put a few 90-degree brackets on it and mount it to the side of the cross frame. I'll just narrow it down so we can still take it out from underneath. You can see some of those factory welds on that subframe. They're unique. It gives it character. We'll just say that. Subframes are real clean inside. These subframes versus the full frame cars usually stay in pretty good shape. The one spot sometimes they would kind of go bad is by the body mounts. Those holes on those body mounts sometimes would get real corroded, but these are in real good shape. On the full frame cars back there, it sometimes rusted out, but with the subframes, it's got plenty of space for the stuff to escape out the back end, and these usually end up being pretty solid. So here's all the components I took off: lower control arms and springs and upper arms, tie rods, the drum brake assembly with your spindles. We're going to do a disc brake conversion, but we're going to use these spindles and we're going to convert those to work with the disc brake. There's plenty of write-ups on that, but maybe we'll get that on video too. And there's our sway bar and center link. Old hardware and our shocks and everything. We'll order all new of this. I've got all new of that ordered, and I'll show that in an upcoming video. So you'll be able to see some unboxing of that. Next thing I'm going to do is the ball joints on lower control arms. We're going to go ahead and get those pressed out. I recommend just getting a tool. I know some people use a vise and some people just beat them out, but this tool makes it a whole hell of a lot easier. You just put it on there. As long as you orient it the right way, you can take it out within a few seconds. And then also we'll do the bushings as well with this same tool. It's pretty versatile. You can see we've got the C-clamp on there. We've got the pressing vise, the cup, that other pressing vise, and then the screw. You just got to keep that screw lubed. You don't want to run that thing dry, otherwise you'll kill it. Renting this tool from O'Reilly's is $150. It'll save you a lot of headache, and you get the $150 back too. So I mean, it's a good deal. It's kind of a no-brainer in my opinion. We'll zip that off though, and I'll show you how that comes off. I'm just gonna use an impact here, 7/8 bit. Buzz it once, and there you can see it popped. We'll go ahead and take the cup off, and there our ball joint is. It's that fast. Now we're gonna do the lower control arm bushings, same tool, just got it spec'd out a little bit different. It's gonna push out into the cup. Make sure you have the cup on the outside, but just remember these factory lower control arms, that metal is a little weak, so you gotta space it out with something and use something so you don't crush that arm. I'm just using an old piece of T-post, and I push in there, buzz it with the impact, pop it out. Just make sure not to bend that up. If you bend it up, you're gonna have a hard time putting the new ones in. But we'll buzz that out of there, and I'll take you on to the next step. Here we're just cleaning these lower control arms up with a wire wheel, and then we'll spray them with epoxy and paint them black. Here's just a quick shot I've got of that frame in epoxy after I clean that up. See, it cleaned up real good. And it got down in those spring perches too, and epoxied that. Used a brush just to get into those hard to reach places. Okay, so I got one coat of that chassis black on there. You can see it, not full coverage, just a dust coat on it. It looks a little glossier on film than it actually is, but I like it.